Am I live? Yes, I am. Hi, it's Katrina Kavanagh here, and it is my eyes. Ooh, and it is the Perfectly Imperfect Facebook Live for Monday, the 5th of August. August? Yes. Hi, Samantha Zanes. You're amazing. You're here. Monday, the 5th of August at it's normally 8 p.m., but today is a little bit of a getting home late day. So I thought I would allow myself to be perfectly imperfect and just sit and allow the girls to have tea, and then I would have tea as well. Hi, fighting with Charles assignment and listening to you. Well, Samantha, I just want to say breathing is really, breathing is really important. And just remember that the part of his brain that is really geared towards, hello, Karen, hello. The part of his brain that's really geared to consequential thinking won't be developed yet until his mid to late 20s. And I think, Samantha, you've shared that your little one has got, is that your son with autism? And so there's some other aspects to consider there. So, oh, sorry, Charles. It's not you, it's the technology. Right. You're fighting with the technology, not the child. This is a good thing. Okay, well, I have only one thing to say about that, and that's going to require some pretty significant emotional regulation approaches. So lots of working with our head, remember, Samantha? Chest, belly, back and throat. Where are you feeling heavy about it? Let's soothe that body of yours. Attend to your feelings whilst you're wrangling with the technology. It's crazy. It's so frustrating. I just want to say, everyone put your hand up or click on the whatever it is. If you think technology is annoying, yes, it is. Yes, it is. And you can come back later, Samantha, and you can see all the little agreements to the fact that technology is extremely annoying. Tonight we will be talking about, our topic for tonight is going to be picking up on a question that we were talking about last week and that I didn't have time to answer, and that was by Jill Venn. And she was talking about her 6-year-old granddaughter that was really struggling with going to school, and she said, my granddaughter won't go to school, she just wants to stay home and play with her dollies, her baby, I think she meant like toys and dolls and all that sort of stuff. Yep, that's okay. I've got a beautiful child coming here and grabbing something off the table. And also I think she's the same little one that spends lots of time on an iPad. So, Katie, can you look after the kitty cat, please? Yes. Yes, I definitely want to be talking about that. So we'll get started on that very, very soon. I just wanted to remind everyone that for those of you who are already here, I would be very grateful if you shared the posts where I talk about that I'm online live every Monday evening at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hello, Tammy Raker. I just want to say to you, it was so lovely to see you at the shops yesterday. Was it yesterday? I can't remember. We stood there and had a bit of a chat and caught up. Very nice. For those who don't know, Tammy Roko was an administration person when I was the service manager of a health program, and she was such a wonderful, wonderful, I've always referred to her as my personal assistant. I must have been having a little bit of a preview into my future life where I would actually have personal assistants. But Tammy was absolutely fantastic. And what made Tammy fantastic is what makes Julie and now Kimberly fantastic, is that they can tolerate the certain way, shall we call it, that Katrina operates. And that way is quite complicated. So anyway, nice for you to be here, Tammy. So today we're going to be talking about school refusal, whether they're age 6 or 12 or 14 or whatever it may be. Obviously at those different ages and stages it's going to be different. Before I get started, I want to encourage you to share this amazing, well, I think it's amazing. I mean amazing as in, yeah, I feel amazing being of service. This Facebook Live, I'd be very grateful with your lovely friends. What a week it's been for me. We had an article written by a lovely journalist from a amazing platform, and she posted the article, and on Uplift, upliftconnect.com, all about kindness on purpose. And a fellow who has 15 million followers, his name is Prince EA, actually shared that post. So what was happening, I was at home, I was wondering why all these like thingos were coming through. Hello, Holly Ann Martin. How you going, everyone? If you can follow the link, there's a woman here who's joined us. Her name is Holly Ann Martin. Please check out what she's doing. Safe, the number 4 kids. She's doing amazing work across Australia. A lot of the time you are in the Northern Territory, Western Australia area, I think, if that's right, Holly Ann. Phenomenal work keeping kids safe. Yes, the sharing of the post. So keeping kids safe. That's what Holly Ann's doing. Phenomenal work around educating them on, and Holly Ann, I'm not explaining this correctly, right? I'm not giving what Holly Ann does justice, but let me do a little brief. She's someone who can coach you on what to say if your kids are exposed to pornography, what is safe and unsafe touch. Hello, Loretta, welcome. Oh, go viral. Now, let me tell you what going viral is actually, Holly. Anyway, so there's no such thing as going viral these days. Those days are gone. So it's, what was I up to? So Holly Ann does amazing things. Safe for Kids, check it out. There's a little link there now. She's now communicating through her Safe for Kids link. So if you're online, go to it. She does amazing things. Talking about exposure to pornography, talking about what is safe and unsafe touching, but really normalising it in a way that is extremely helpful for parents. And there's heaps more to what she does, and that's my very poor attempt at actually attempting to answer that. So yes, big week. So what that has meant in real terms is that I've had about 30 inquiries from the United States, Canada, and also India. These are people inquiring, both schools, individuals, parents, schools, and teachers inquiring about kindness on purpose. So I am putting the skates on, and I've been busy responding to all of those. I'm extremely grateful to Uplift at Connect, and also to the lovely Prince EA for sharing. Obviously, there's some other people in the United States that will obviously see that, and we'll see what comes from there. So I'm very, very grateful. Oh, how can I not promote you, Holly Ann Martin? So I've got here, I'm going to be covering this school refusal stuff. And Karen, you're saying I'm having huge issues getting my 12-year-old daughter to school, so this should be good for us to hear. Great. So let's talk about it. There's lots of reasons why kids don't like going to school. Let's really look at what it is. Oh, before I say yes, that is a, can you see? That's a, that is a harp, that top wobbly thing. Oh, and behind that is a cat. My daughter is learning the harp. Kate is learning the harp. It's so beautiful. Beautiful. Anyway, so hope everyone's joining me in their pajamas. I've got my jammy jums on. I hope you're all nice and comfy. So let's talk about what it's like for children to go to school, and let's give a little bit of recognition of what school actually is, okay? School is an experience where obviously it offers much for students, okay? It offers an opportunity to practice social skills, emotional skills, and also to learn a great deal. Now, there are 50,000 views about the education system and whether it works or doesn't work, blah, blah, blah. The mechanics of it, whether it's a good fit for the developmental needs of children. But what I would say to you is this. We excuse me, I've got some, we are in a place where we have to, I think it's really important as parents to recognise what happens when a child leaves you to go to school each day. They leave their home, safe environment, so ideally they're in a safe environment. So they leave your home and they step out into the world. Now this is their world. This is, when you think about it for children, school is pretty much it. They might do extracurricular activities, but where do they go? Where do they spend most of their waking hours? At school. They are also faced with the opportunity. Hello, Jodie Niedermeyer. Hello. How exciting. they're also faced with the challenge of stepping into a school environment where they don't have the safety of what they have at home. They're also faced with the challenge of experiencing their developmental growth in that school context. Okay. So what we've got really, when we get down to it, are children stepping out of a sense of safety into hello, Melinda Jane as well, and hello to you, Jody. Stepping into a place of, if you've got a good school, and there are plenty of wonderful educators, and all of the kindness on purpose schools are obviously fit into this category, then you'll have a whole lot of educators who are very aware of the social and emotional needs of your children. Now, if you are fortunate to have a child at a school like that, then you can be certain that when your child goes into school, that they are going to have at least those emotional and social and emotional needs acknowledged. Okay, and usually you'll find the school to be a great place to work with you. But let's look at it from the perspective. Let's just get into the shoes of your child. Now, for a 6-year-old, it's scary. It's scary. They have to navigate things like going to the toilet, taking turns, dealing with friendships, dealing with tricky friendships. How do you deal with that? What if the teacher doesn't like me? What if the teacher raises their voice? Okay. What if they get lost? What if they do the wrong thing? You know, there's a whole range of things that are quite daunting, right? And if you've got a child who isn't a go by the flowy type child, right, then they're going to experience the temperament's a bit more aware, and they're really noticing the subtle social nuances between their friendship groups, whatever it may be. Then they're going to be I know how. Yes, everyone's together. Good networking on our conversation, ladies. So they're going to be facing up to a whole lot of what we wouldn't see it as, but what their brain and their body would be perceiving as threat. Okay, the things that we take for granted all the time. Something as simple as putting the hand up and saying, "Can I please go to the toilet?" and saying that to a teacher that they're afraid may not say yes. Right? These are very significant things for children, okay? Have they had a human moment like all of us and forgotten their jumper, forgotten their homework or whatever it may be? So there's a lot of, if you think about it, a school day is fraught with possible threats, both socially, emotionally, academically for your children, okay? So I get it why some children go, I don't want to go. I know personally as a child, I went through a period of time in year 3 where I would get up to my dad, because it was my dad, my sister and I living at home shortly after my parents separated. Obviously, I was in a heightened state of anxiety. Hello, Lisa Marie. And I would get up every day in year 3 and go into my dad and go, I'm really sick. I'd put on that voice. I was a good actress. Probably really not, but anyway. I'm really sick. And one time, I was so desperate for what was wrong with me, I went in there and said, Dad, it hurt when I took my first breath. So I think it's terribly funny. So, hello, Lisa Marie. So, I have my own first-hand experiences of child having a time when I really just didn't want to go to school. The thought of it was overwhelming for me emotionally. And if you'd said to me at that time, please articulate in your own words, Katrina, what's happening for you? I would have said, I don't want to go. I wouldn't have been necessarily able to put it into words. And that may shock you because I'm such an articulate person now. But back then, I wouldn't have, right? So, of course. So that was me being funny, by the way. So I think we need to be really, really mindful. We need to have an empathic experience of standing in the shoes of our own children when they're struggling. Okay, now this doesn't mean that we therefore say, hey, don't go. That's fine. Don't go to school. Let's stay home. Because the truth of it is that by law, children are required to go to school. And there's a whole lot of really important, as I've already said, social, emotional, and academic reasons for that. Okay, so I, I, I wanted to acknowledge that first. And so I would invite you to hop into the shoes of your own children, have a look at what they need to navigate each day, consider their social world. How is it really going for them? Are the people that they've connected with as friends, are they good friends? Are they tricky? Do you believe your child has the capacity to navigate those friendships? How are they feeling about the work? Are they good at sitting still? Do they have a teacher that lets them move around if they're not good at sitting still? Blah, blah, blah. There's all of these things. And in fact, I probably need to create a checklist actually, don't I? Of all the things that your child could be encountering as they go through their day. So just take some time to pop into the shoes of your own children and just consider it from their perspective. Now, the next step is not to say, hey, that's fine, darling. There's no need to go to school. But it's to talk about how, you know what, it can feel really heavy sometimes, the thought of going to school. You know, we don't always want to go, you know. I certainly do. I say that to my girls all the time. I certainly don't want to, well, it's not true really, because I love what I do. But, you know, on the days when sometimes I say. But I'm fortunate. But, you know, the truth is we can say to our children, well, I don't feel like going to work yet. And so you're normalising that is an experience that even adults have, rather than, no, you're going, okay? So to come in alongside them, get in their shoes, see how they're experiencing it, but then come in alongside them, explain to them your position. Legally, we're required to support you to go. I really believe in school. But let's talk about supporting you to feel those feelings, nurture and look after those feelings, work with your brain and your body using the kindness on purpose way. Remember, head, where am I feeling? What am I feeling? Heavy or light? Where am I feeling it? Head, chest, belly, back or throat. Step 3, I can look after my feelings by working with those parts of the body, okay? And step 4, so therefore I can feel okay again. But what you're showing them is everyone feels heavy sometimes. It's possible to look after those feelings and move through it and then come out the other side. And I want you to prove to yourself that you have the capacity to actually get yourself to school and experience it. It's understandable. I had this recently with one of mine where I said, I have full faith in your capacity to go. It will be daunting. You are going to have heavy feelings about it, but I have full faith because I want you to have the experience of having that resistance and not wanting to go, being able to look after your feelings, and then stepping through the process of feeling those feelings, nurturing, looking after your feelings, physically going and experiencing that self-mastery over your emotional state. Now, for children, from kindy right through, I would encourage, if you're able to be fortunate enough to be dropping your children to school, I would encourage you to do a few things. There's this wonderful mindfulness technique that I'm going to share with you now that I really encourage you to use. This was handed to me. I've learned this picked it up along the way, so it's not mine. Okay. Haley Brown, just checking in to let you know that my 4-year-old has slept in her bed 3 nights in a row. Everyone give Haley Brown, oh my gosh, thanks for your advice. You're a gem. Haley, we're all just giving a big, it's really corny, isn't it? Round of, I just want to celebrate with you that you've achieved this. Hello, Sally Ann, that you've achieved this, Haley Brown. You know, I'm so grateful I could be of assistance with that. That means the world to me. That means the world to me, that I was able to assist with you with that. And what a beautiful 4-year-old you have. What a and how beautiful and nurturing you've been as a parent. That's fantastic. Now, just because I want to balance this out with, we're talking about how beautiful you are, I like to share with you times that I'm just sidetracking. I'm just going to sidetrack because I do tend to do that. I thought I should share with my Perfectly Imperfect parenting community that I had my very first time where I sent my 10-year-old to school without lunch. Nothing. She had a piece of fruit, no sandwich. Okay, so I just like to, oh, hello to you, Sally Ann, and lovely, thank you. So I just wanted to reaffirm that it literally drove Kate, thought I was doing a lunch order, didn't happen. Did the day, flurry, day, busy. Picked her up at the end of the day, driving away, and just went, oh, Kate, what did you eat for lunch? And she said, nothing, I just had the snacks. So Oh, I miss you too, Sally Ann. I miss you. I'm here. So I just want you to know, just want to share with you because, I'm the mum that didn't give my child lunch, and these things happen. So I wanted to share with you my perfectly imperfect moment. And so the good news is Kate's alive and she survived. She's not starving. She's walking around the house as we saw. She's in working away and doing something while mummy's on Facebook Live. She is not terribly scarred, but I'm a bit more across the lunches. Yes. Anyway, back to the story. So there we are with our lovely kids that are saying, look, going to school is a bit big, brings up big feelings for me. And so what happens is, what I want you to do is, I want you, if you can be able to drop your kids off, this is ideal. Because what we want to coach them to know is we want to coach them to feel that feeling of resistance and nervousness, maybe anxiety. Well, I don't love calling nervousness anxiety and giving it that clinical label too easily. But I want you to, if they're feeling that way, I want them to experience that. I want them to experience looking after their feelings as they step through it. And there's a really good strategy that you can do that sits outside of the usual coaching steps I share with you, and it is this, and I'm going to let's all go through it together, okay? I want you to be sitting out in front of the school in your car with your beautiful, lovely child and run them through this process. It's really simple, and we're going to all do it together. I want everyone to take a deep breath. Maybe another one. I want you to look around and tell me 3 things you can see. And I'll share with you, obviously you can't say it out loud to me, but I'm going to share with you what I can see. I can see the keys on the keyboard. I can see the screen of my own face talking away. And I can see this pen. Okay? Just notice what are 3 things you can see, and really be careful to see. Try to see the detail. Okay, deep breath. What are 3 things I can hear? So in my home, the 3 things are the hum of the heater, the clunk of a child, I can hear like 3 clocks ticking, but there aren't 3 clocks in the house. Oh, someone just bumped something. Okay, deep breath. Take your time. What are 3 things you can hear? Okay, deep breath. What are 3 things you can feel? Not emotionally, but physically with your body. So I can feel my bottom on this chair. I can feel my feet in, like I can feel the Ugg boots pressing on the top of my feet. And I can feel my fingers rubbing my fingertips. Okay, deep breath. And then you turn to your child and you say, you're ready to go to school. You can do this. I believe in you. You may have heavy feelings about it, but I am here for you to talk about it at the end of the day. Okay? And then you encourage them to step out of the car, or you're walking with them depending on their age, and encourage them to off they go. This is a little mindfulness. So 3 things I can see, 3 things I can hear, and 3 things I can feel physically. What this does is it grounds them. It slows the moment down. It brings them into a state of mindfulness and just gives them that greater sense, just brings their brain activity down a little bit more. Okay? So that's something that I'd love to suggest to you that you could try with your student, with your student, with your child. So remember, all ages and stages, put yourself in their shoes, really look at what they're facing up to every day. understand that from their perspective, school is their world. It is important to them. It's where they will feel connection, and it's certainly where they will feel disconnection. Whenever they feel any sense of disconnection, they're going to feel threatened. Their amygdala is going to start moving into that guard dog position, letting the rest of the brain and the body know, hang on, there's threat here, rah, 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 I'm the guard dog, flipping their brain into primitive brain, fight, flight, freeze, or submit, making sure that the vagal nerve running from the base of the brain down through the heart and chest area, down into the tummy, ending at the end of the colon, becomes less effective, leaving that heavy feeling in the chest and that upset feeling in the tummy, okay? They're going to be having those experiences, and it's really good to actually say to kids, look, this is what's happening in your brains, letting you know that you're worried, and that's why you're feeling heaviness in the chest and heaviness in the tummy. So it's important to listen to that, and then we look after our feelings the kindness on purpose way, okay? Oh, hello, Rachel Jones, and I'm coming back. I'm going to read that in a minute, Samantha Zanes. And the dingle dingle in the back is actually our beautiful cat Magic, who we've just issued with a collar due to, yes, tricky relationship with the bird life around here. So that's the dingle dingle. So the other suggestions I will talk about is when they come home, obviously communicate with the educators there. Make an appointment, ring and make an appointment and speak to the teacher. That can be done over the phone or in person, and ask what's going on. Find out what's going on in their world, because educators do often know a lot more than we know as parents about what's going on on the ground in the school environment. Find out how they're going academically. Are there any signs of any concerns? Okay, like really have those conversations. It's important. If they are involved in a sporting activity or an extracurricular activity, I would also encourage you to also communicate with those people and say, look, my child's experiencing a strong desire not to go to school. I'm wanting to, hello, Nicole Ackhurst. Hello, back to you, Rachel. I'm wanting to check in with you as their coach or their singing teacher or their music teacher, whatever thing you've got them in, or their harp teacher. I would like to talk to you and see what your perspective is on how they're going in their sport or in their activity. Are you noticing any differences? Okay, so what we do is we're acknowledging that it takes a community to raise a child. So the school is a key part of the community because it's their world. The family, obviously, are key. And any adults that are in that extracurricular activity world are also key because they know your child in a different setting than you know them. So just have a little, conversations with those people. It's so important. And they will hold information for you, particularly and say if they're having difficulty going to school. So I hope that's been helpful. The other thing is at the end of each day is to check in with them and say, how are they going? And it's not about, remember, just because they're feeling anxious about going to school, it's not a sign of their inability to cope. I'm going to say that again. Just because they're feeling anxious about going to school, it's not a sign of their inability to cope. It's not a sign of their inability to cope, because as adults, we get caught up in that, hooked in. We want to go into protective parent mode and protect them from feeling any distress whatsoever. So we want to protect them. So we let them stay home. We work, right? We give them the message that, look, I'm all for the mental health day. Let me tell you, big fan of the mental health day. I don't expect my kids to be completely sick to have a day of school. If there's an opportunity and they're feeling like they needed to take a day, not often, but rarely, but sometimes, I'll let them have that day because we all need a mental health day. I think it's very important to role model that, right? But there's a balance. And we want to give them the message that just because they're feeling the anxiety, it is not an indicator of their ability to cope. Now, as parents, we can get hooked into that. So it's really critical that we say, look, these are just feelings. This is a wonderful opportunity to train and coach you for life, because as you go through life, there'll be things that you don't want to do. There's going to be people that you find tricky. They will be. It's just the nature of relationships and life. And our job is to support you to be able to look after your feelings. We call it self-management in the corporate sector, but it's look after your feelings, self-care, self-nurture, so that when you're having those conversations with people, you're as calm as possible to be able to assess what's going on, okay? So I hope that that's been helpful. Let me know if you've got any more specific questions about kids and school refusal, okay? Samantha, I've got here, so my youngest 11 years has been / is being bullied both verbally and physically. I'm obviously dealing with this, of course you are, with the school, but now he has extreme anxiety, yes, real anxiety, not nervousness, as in vomiting and diarrhea and tears, stress response, school refusal. I'm waiting for a spot to get him professional help, but what can I do in the meantime? Okay. Samantha, you can start doing something really, really important, and that is at school or at home, I want him to start to learning how to stop at least 5 times a day and take 3 to 6 deep breaths. I want him to check in with his body. How tight is his jaw? How heavy does his head feel? How heavy does his chest feel? How does his tummy feel? And I'm sure he can tell you, okay? How tense is his back? How's his throat? And if he identifies any of those areas in a place of discomfort, then we're going to use some of those coaching steps. And Samantha, let me know if you haven't got them, because I can send you a copy of those coaching steps about ways that he can work with his body, okay, to help look after it. It's imperative that you say to him, his feelings are understandable, completely understandable. His body is actually his friend. His feelings are his friend. Those feelings, those heavy feelings, are just letting him know that something's not right. And he's done the best thing to hand it over to the adults to be able to address that, okay? He's amazing to trust his body and to listen to his body. His body's just communicating. I would be obviously communicating with the school. I'm hoping you already are. I'm hoping that they're working with you to establish a safety plan for him. I'm hoping that they're setting up some kind of a system within the school day, key people he could go to. I think those things are really, really important, so that where are his safe places within school grounds? Yes, please send the coaching steps. I'm so awful to watch him to go through it. Yeah, I will. I'll send those coaching steps through to you. What can he be? Does he have a safe place within the school grounds? Have they identified that? Okay. Is he in year 7, Samantha? He's 12, 11. No, he'd be in year 6, wouldn't he? I think. Yes, he'd be in year 6. Well, so I'm hoping that they've got a safe place for him. I'm hoping that we're working with his emotions. I hope that they're not placing responsibility for him upon him and making statements that he needs to be more resilient. I'm sure they're not in this day and age. I'm hoping that they are working. They can't always tell you. Educators can't always tell you what's going on with the other party involved due to privacy, but I hope that I'm certain they are addressing the behaviour in a good way, in a productive way, as much as they can, with the children who are expressing their distress in that way. I would love to see that the school are actually working, year 6, yeah. Well, I would love to see that the school are actually working with the kids that are engaging in the bullying behaviour to help them, because kids will always find a way to express their distress through their bodies or their behaviour, and I'm putting to you that he is, not your son, but the guys that are bullying him or girls, that they are expressing their distress in this way by using this behaviour, okay? So I hope that they are getting the support that they need. They need some real help professionally and I hope that there is a structure of safety being placed around them as to how much, maybe supervision, how much playground time they get, all of those kind of things. Like, there's a whole range of strategies that I hope that the school are engaging in to support him. I'm sure they are. If they're not, it's just because they haven't thought of it and they don't know. And I hope they're coming from a neuroscience point of view. So really we're helping both your son and the kids that are engaging in this behaviour, because they are suffering too, actually, to work with their own brain and body and therefore their behaviour from that neuroscience point of view, because that's what's going to help them to learn to regulate their feelings. I would want to talk to your son about helping him to reframe what's going on, that he understands that this is not a reflection on him. But when he's in that age and stage, and with the brain development at that stage, it's very, very tricky to take that on. They will take it, they will see it as a personal attack, because it is. It's on their physical being and on their verbally on themselves. Just one student, and yes, he needs help, and no help. School not that helpful. They just say he's from a troubled background. Well, kindness on purpose schools come from a trauma-informed perspective, and what they do is they acknowledge that kids that are from a troubled background actually are coming from a place of distress, and that is why they're engaging in those behaviours. I think that, if I think that I'm hoping that the school actually starts to work more with you, and just remember, though, you may not know exactly what's going on, because sometimes a lot of stuff goes on and they won't communicate it to you. And then remember, okay, out of all of this, what have I got control of? I've got control of what happens in the home. Yes, it would be lovely to get him to some professional help where he can start to practice the neuroscience way of working with his brain and his body, okay, to help regulate and look after his feelings, to help reframe in his mind so that he comes out of this with an understanding of what's really gone on and what this really is, i.e. this is not a reflection on him, nor his value, nor his worth, but it is simply a result of this person is expressing his distress and he's taking it out on him, okay? The other thing I'd talk to you about, and he may already do this, because I think your kids are pretty active, but whatever you can be doing for him to be engaging in physical activity so that he starts to feel a sense of physical self-mastery. Because every single time that person bullies him with his words or his physical behaviour, what happens is the recipient, I don't like the word victim, the recipient of the bullying, in that instant, their body is literally, not really, but it can feel like their body is, hello, Miss Joyce, it's nice to have you. So what can happen in that moment is, it's not real, but the perception can be that the other person literally has control over their body, because it's the person's behaviour that's evoking a response in the body of the person on the receiving end of the bullying or the trauma. So that person yells at me or calls me a name, my body has a response. I didn't control that. That came because that person hurt me. That person physically grabs me. My body has a response to that. That was outside of my control in that moment. That happened because I didn't ask for my body to have that experience nor that response. So it can start to feel like your body is no longer your own, okay? So wherever we can therefore support your kids to be engaging in that physical activity to regain that sense of self-mastery. Now, if they're already physically active, I would be saying that I would be supporting your coach, their coaches, or whoever's involved in their physical activities. I think it might be scouts or something. But ideally, we want to trauma-inform them a little bit. But we just want a little bit of a running dialogue going where you're saying to them, see what your body can do. So it's all wrapping words around behaviour to embed it into the brain as to help grow new neurological pathways that feel safer. Hello, Renee. So it would be, your kids are, if they're already involved in sport, but there's a lot of verbal dialogue around, see what you can have your body do. Look what you're doing with your body now. You're doing that. You're doing that. You're making your legs, and it sounds crazy, but you're making your legs run. You're rolling around I don't know what he does, rolling around. You're the one who's kicking the ball. Your body's doing that. You are in control. Look at what your body's doing. It's amazing. It's phenomenal. It's powerful. It can do whatever it needs to do. And that kind of dialogue reminds him that he is the master of his body. Okay, and it helps him regain that sense of physical self-mastery, because every single time some kid comes and is cruel to him, expresses his distress in that way, in that instant he feels like there's a disconnect between his body's reactions and what's and his sense of control, because there is, that's the truth of it. So for every rupture there needs to be a repair. So we're going to have lots of experiences of repairing that misunderstanding, so that by when he is, how are you going there? I'm going well, Renee. Thank you so much for asking. So what we're doing is we're coaching him to understand that he actually does have physical self-mastery over his body. These are some basic suggestions, okay? So physical self-mastery, physical activity. If he's not already doing it, please start doing it. Conversations with the school, conversations with coaches to encourage them to label how amazing his body is to be doing it. The emotional coaching techniques, getting professional help to embed those strategies into his everyday living on a day-to-day basis, on every 5 to 6 times a day, stopping and taking 2 to 4 breaths and slowing everything down, noticing any tightness in his body, and then attending to his body through using those coaching steps. All of those things are really, really important. But yes, the professional help's also very, very important, because if they can help embed these ideas, these strategies, but also help him reframe the way he's psychologically experiencing this behavior from another child. Great. I hope that is helpful. Yes, good. I'm very, very pleased. And I hope that's been very, very helpful for everyone else. I love being helpful. So I'm just checking in. So that I've answered that question. So I think we should probably finish that now. Otherwise, you'll all be here, falling off and falling asleep, won't you? So I hope that that's been helpful. I'm having a rip of a week. I am at James Erskine Public School Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday this week. I'm there doing some demonstration lessons. I'm very excited. That's in Western Sydney. Seeing some clients in the evening on Wednesday. Thursday is a Katrina Look After Myself day, doing some special things for myself on that day that involves going to Sydney, doing a lot of, while I'm on the train, pumping away on a lot of admin work. And then Friday, clients. And then on Friday night, I'm very pleased to say that I'm going to be going to the Catholic Club in Campbelltown, where I am part of, I'm not part of anything, I'm just attending, but one of the schools, who is a Kindness on Purpose school, is presenting to a group of other professionals their experience of being a Kindness on Purpose school, and they're doing that against the backdrop of research, and also doing it in consultation or with support of the university up there, University of Western Sydney, I think it is. Sorry if that's incorrect. And so it's going to be, it's called an epic presentation. So I've previewed the video. I previewed a video that they made, and I cannot say, oh my God, it's phenomenal to watch a video of Kindness on Purpose in action. So I'm hoping that I do get permission to release that video, because it made me cry. I watched it and cried. I cried because I can't believe this thing called Kindness on Purpose that I created does what it does. Like, it's amazing. It's amazing, and I'm very grateful that I'm given this job. So thank you very, very much for your support tonight, lovely people. Thank you for coming every Monday night, 8 p.m, unless I need to start later because I need to eat, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Sydney time, Australia. The Perfectly Imperfect Parenting Community. Remember, every now and again we're going to forget their lunch, right? Every now and again we're not going to have the right socks. Every now and again the washing isn't going to be done. Every now and again we're going to forget a homework task. All kinds of things. We're allowed to be perfectly imperfect, okay? And the most important thing is to be kind to ourselves. If you're not part of our Facebook community, our Perfectly Imperfect Facebook community, please go up and sign up. We are launching newsletters. We've got amazing content coming out soon this year in response to what's going on from the US and Canada and other countries as a result of the article. I was already developing some online platforms already, but it's made me go a bit faster. So I've got some great courses coming up for teachers if you're not in a Kindness on Purpose school. Thank you, Renee. Thank you. And thank you, Nicole. That's amazing. I'm amazing. Thank you. And Carly Ann, I'm going to see you on Friday night too. And little Amenia, thank you too. You're all beautiful people, and I'm so grateful that I can share this time with you. Take care. Good night. Remember, we are all magnificent. Did you hear that? We are all magnificent. Every single one of us. Take care. Bye.